Hello and welcome back to the Witching Hour. When we last left our heroes, the Hardys had to abandon ship. And I'm starting to notice, I noticed this a long time ago, but if you didn't notice, the names of these chapters usually are something that happens at like the end of the frickin' chapter, so they're kind of spoilering themselves. Also, I didn't mention this before, but there's the occasional art throughout this, and I didn't get back to it, but there was an art of them jumping out of the old lady's car when they decided to do that. There was an art of them almost getting run over by a horse. There's an art of them putting on the Irish people masks when they were in the subway to escape from people. And there was an art in the very beginning also. Of them watching the funeral of John Witchmaster. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Those are just things that are in here. But I think there's a few more, but I don't really have a way of showing you those arts. I think there's at least one more here, that's something that happens later. But I will just continue to read. Chapter 14 is called, or chapter 16 is called A Coven Feud. The lifeboats hit the waves. The first were filled with women and children. The men piled in next while crewmen manned the oars. The boats filled up quickly. "There's no room for us," Joe yelled. "We'll have to take our chances in the water." The upper deck was awash when Captain ordered the last of the crew to follow him over the side. The Hardys leapt into the sea and swam away as fast as possible. They had to get clear of the ferry to avoid being dragged down by suction when the vessel sank. Safely out of range, they watched the death of the stricken ferry. The bow went under and the stern rose high in the air. For a moment she stood on end and then plunged into the depths. Frank and Joe bobbed up and down like a couple of corks. I don't know what that was. They knew they were too far from land to swim for it, and the lifeboats had drifted away in the storm. Joe yelled out to Frank, What do we do now?" "Wait to be picked up," Frank shouted back. "The SOS must have got through." Gradually the storm died out, the waves became calm, the rain stopped, and the sun came out. Some dots on the horizon grew larger. They were rescue boats answering the ferry's SOS, and they began to pick up survivors. The Hardys yelled and waved frantically until one of the boats noticed them. It was curved in a wide arc and stopped in a mass of frothy foam churned by its propellers. The two boys were hauled aboard. Frank's teeth chattered. "Boy, are we glad to see you," he told one sailor. "Yeah," Joe added. "We were getting cold out there." "You're obviously Americans," the seaman observed. How do you happen to be so men in the Irish Sea?" Joel told him who they were and where they were from. He described how they went from East Anglia to Dublin and caught the ferry for the Isle of Man. "That's interesting," the sailor said. Just then a call came for him came to the engine room, and he left. "Joe, zipper your lip, will you?" Frank rebuked his brother. "We're supposed to be on our way home, remember? And we don't want our whereabouts to get back to Griffinmore." Joe looked embarrassed. "Sorry about that," he said, and he added wistfully, "Too bad we lost everything in our suitcases." "Not everything. I salvaged this before we abandoned ship." Frank reached in his pocket and drew out the striped cap they'd found at Stonehenge. "Good thinking," Joe complimented him. "At least we can check out this clue." The rescue boat pulled into the dock at Douglas, the capital of the Isle of Man. Cold and stiff, the Hardys went ashore. The Red Cross put them up for the night. They took showers, had a meal, placed their money flat on the table to dry, and went to bed. Wait, they have money? Well, I guess it was in their pockets, probably. Their clothes were ready to wear again in the morning. They had breakfast, thanked their host, and strolled to the center of Douglas. Joe was wearing a striped cap. The label on it read Cooper's Clothes. They found the store in the Douglas Promenade. Joe handed the cap to the clerk, a young man with blonde hair and blue eyes. "Recognize this?" he inquired. "Can you tell who bought it?" The clerk turned the cap over in his hands. He peered closely at the cloth and opened his mouth to answer when the proprietor of the store cut him off. "No identification is possible," the man said. "We sell thousands of such caps every year. Sorry, we can't help you." He strolled over to the rack of raincoats and began putting on price tags. These things have been going off all day, and I really don't like it. More noises, more hooded figures. I really hate this. I feel like something's happening. Anyway. He strode over a rack of raincoats and began putting price on price tags. I guess that does it," Frank remarked. Joe twirled the cap on one finger. "For sale. Cheap," he grinned. As they turned to leave, the clerk nodded slightly as a signal. He raised his eyebrows and looked toward the door, indicating the Hardys were to wait for him outside. Frank and Joe left the shop and sat on the bench looking at the scene on the beach across the promenade. Half an hour later, the clerk emerged from the store and approached the bench. "Follow me," he whispered as he walked past. He continued for a couple blocks and entered a pub. He sat down on a secluded table in one corner. Frank and Joe joined him. "It's lunchtime," the clerk said, "so we can chat a little. My name is Harry Burke." The Hardys introduced themselves. They noticed that the pub was frequented by rough men who seemed ready for anything. Most were drinking at the bar. Several were tossing darts at the board. After the waitress had brought out 3 orders of fish and chips, Burke leaned over and spoke in a low undertone. "I know that cap," the clerk declared, "because it has a flaw in the cloth, and I remember who bought it." I think, due to all the spookiness going on around me, I'm going to leave off right there and find out who bought it next time from these guys. But, yeah, geez. Yeah, so you can tell there's a lot of spooky things. We're going to play some more AI Dungeon today, and hopefully nothing bad will happen this time like last time. Oh. Okay, here we are with more of this. We're going to do a little bit. I got to set a timer up. I didn't do that yet. But we need to pick a theme here for today's story. We've had a few of these, and boy, I'm bad at this. Here we go. So we did, it was a dark and stormy night. We did The Room. Should we do Note? No, let's do Haunted. That sounds like a good one. Haunted. Because that's what I feel like I am right now. Hopefully the Witchmaster doesn't show up in this one.
You quickly turn your head, trying to spot what made the movement but see nothing. You are starting to feel a little panicky as you think about where you should go next in your game when you hear a loud yell from downstairs. The blood drains from your face as you realize someone is in your house. You try to convince yourself it's just a robber and not a murderer, but the thought does little to calm you.
It's the middle of the night and you are sitting in your room playing an online text adventure. A shiver runs down your spine as you read these words, but you keep playing. All of a sudden you hear a sound come from your kitchen. You stop and listen, straining to hear. A chill starts to creep over you, but you try to brush the feeling aside to reassure yourself that it's just your mind playing tricks on you. As you return to your game, though, you see something move out of the corner of your eye, which causes you to jump. You turn your head quickly to spot what made the movement and see nothing. You're starting to feel a little panicky, so you think about what you should do next in your game when you hear a loud yell from downstairs. Yeah. You think it's a robber, not a murderer. That's good. I'm going to be prepared this time. So when we were in a dark and stormy night, we were alone in our room as well, but that was creepy. This is creepy, too, because this is almost like it knows. I'm playing an online text adventure, and there was a noise in my kitchen that caused me to jump. That's terrible. Not seeing anything out of the corner of my eye currently, though, so that's good. I've been doing that a lot lately, though. Anyway, let's grab the wooden baseball bat that I keep. Now, let's put you. We always do you. Keep by your bed and go downstairs to check it out. I don't have a downstairs.
You grab the wooden baseball bat that you keep by your bed and go downstairs to check it out.
I am recording, I think. Yeah.
You slowly creep down your creaky stairs, cursing yourself for not buying new carpeting. You reach the bottom of the stairs and carefully approach the door to your living room. The swinging of the door causes a regular creak that pierces the silence of the night, causing you to wince at its loudness. You peer inside your living room, straining your eyes as you try to spot anything out of place.
Yeah. That's exactly what I am doing. So what happens next? The suspense and tension in this kills me.
You see nothing out of the ordinary. You walk inside and look around, checking all the corners. Still, you find nothing. Perhaps you were just hearing things? You're about to head back up to your room when a creak behind causes you to freeze in place as you slowly turn your head to see what caused the noise. It was just the kitchen door swinging closed, though. It must have been the wind. You, with relief, you head back upstairs to
Oh.
continue your online text adventure game
I
with a
should've.
really funny narrator voice.
Done story.
When you reach your room, you immediately power up your computer and open up your game. You jump a little when the game starts talking to you. Hello, and again. Welcome to Haunted House, the web series. I trust you enjoyed the first episode? You slowly nod your head yes. Any hoozle, I do believe it's time for you to continue the game. The screen then directs you
Any
to the
hoozle.
URL.
Have some trepidation, but you go to this new URL. Anyway, I mean, I wouldn't actually do this, but let's continue the story.
You have some trepidation, but you go to this new URL anyway.
Any hoozle.
You follow the link to a new page. It's some kind of text entry form. Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Haunted House, the web series. An automated voice gleefully states from your computer. We hope you're having fun so far. To track your progress through this episode, please enter your name in the box below. You squint at the URL for a moment before realizing that it's asking you for your name. You enter Holly in the box.
That's my name. Okie dokie.
Thank you for entering, Holly, the voice says. Now, to continue, please answer the following question. How did Dr. Alec Bias become involved with the museum in the first place? Choose your own adventure. Now you have to write a spooky story. You have to admit to yourself, this is a lot more fun than you thought it would be.
It's also a lot less involving the Witchmaster than I thought it would be. But I'm a glutton for punish. Dr. Alice Pius was investigating the connection between druidic. Oh. You answer.
Answer, Dr. Alec Pius was investigating the connection between druidic ritual and witchcraft and came to the museum to see their collection of artifacts from this time period. That's correct. The voice booms back. You may now proceed to the next section. A new door appears in front of you. Now, for your next test, you must discover how to open the doors to the next section. Good luck, Holly. As you open the door and progress onward through the internet adventure, you can't help but feel this is a little too easy.
Yeah, you begin to get bored of the game and decide that it's time you went to sleep. So you move your mouse to close the game.
You begin to get bored of the game and decide that it's time you went to sleep, so you move your mouse to close the game.
I do these things to myself, just so you understand.
You wake up later that night with a gasp as you bolt upright in bed. You feel like you're starring in your own horror movie as you look around your bedroom and see that everything is completely different. Your walls are now dark red, not the yellow they normally are. You glance over at your dressers and see that your framed pictures have all been replaced with horrific images of people screaming, houses on fire, or war scenes.
Well, this isn't good. You get out of bed and clutch the baseball bat as you head for the door to your room. You whisper, "What the hell?"
You get out of bed and clutch the baseball bat as you head for the door to your room. You whisper, "What the hell?" as you open the door.
Well, this is the culmination, right? We're gonna continue. We died in that other one. We get killed by the miners. I'm not gonna get killed this time.
You bolt out of your room and into the upstairs hall leading to the stairs. When you get to the top of the stairs, you see that more redecoration has taken place. Where there was once a clean, carpeted staircase is now a black metal spiral staircase. You run down the stairs and find yourself in a room that is completely different from what it normally is. Gone are the walls painted in bright primary colors.
I should just continue this so it continues the description. Sometimes it runs out of things to say. Yeah, I hope you're all having a good autumn. A good spooky October. It's getting towards the end. I haven't felt well the last couple days. I've been kind of under the weather, so.
The room is now dark red. You are in a different part of the house. Stop playing. This is just too scary. You walk through the dining room and into the modern kitchen. As you enter the kitchen, an automated voice sounds throughout the house. Too bad, Holly. That wasn't the right answer. You've lost. You look up at the security camera in the kitchen and see a red light flashing on it that you didn't notice before. You think to yourself that this isn't a game, and you find yourself saying those words out loud. This isn't a game. Let me out.
This is spooky. This is actually the best one I've gotten so far. Wow, it's doing a good job with this. Creating a good horror.
The voice laughs back at you. You should have thought of that before you accepted the dare. Who are you? You demand. The voice continues to laugh at you before saying, I'm sure your boyfriend has talked about me. I'm the ringleader.
Oh.
The ringleader of what? You ask.
I have a boyfriend. I don't have a boyfriend. The ringleader of what? I bet I know what you're the ringleader of, but I'm gonna continue. You're probably the ringleader. You're. You get a little meta here.
You then realize where you've heard this before. This is the same.
This
as
is
the
what I
last two
get.
Chapters of this story that you've played in your online text adventure game. You are the ringleader of witches. You hear the voice laughing again. Got it in one. But now that we've played my little game, it's time for you to come and play mine. What are you going to do to me? You ask. You hear the sound of a cackle coming from all around you, but no words. You panic and try to run back to your room, but find all the doors have disappeared.
Oh, jeez. No. No! Ah! I mean, No. You. This is terrible. This is terrifying.
Walls for a way out. Any way out.
You have to understand that I'm not doing most of this. Some of it I'm doing.
You feel the walls for any secret buttons, or some way to open them. When you push against the walls, a hidden door opens up in the wall and you can escape. You've won this round against the Witchmaster.
Haha! I've won this round against the Witchmaster. Follow the passage beyond the hidden. Haha.
Follow the passage beyond the hidden door.
I can get away from the Witchmaster.
You find yourself in a large room with a metal, cage-like door at one end. At the other end of the room is the door out. It is clearly the work of the Witchmaster that you are prevented from reaching it. The room is filled with stacks of old wooden crates, all different sizes and all different shapes. There are more crates stacked up along the sides of the walls, making a total of 8 passable routes around the room. You remember that this game is called...
What is this game called?
Crate expectations, and you remember from playing the other chapters in this game that you have to get through the room by pushing the right crates and moving on. The first thing you notice is that some of the crates have fallen and some of the stacks have small holes in them, revealing the crates within. You spot a smallish crate beneath one such hole and pull it out. It reads Acme, in large red letters, on the side.
You remember from watching Looney Tunes. Is that one of those things? So this is another of those Mandela effect things. Is Looney Tunes spelled with an E or no E? I don't remember. I feel like this is the correct spelling, but that could be a Mandela effect thing again. I have to look that up. I hate it. I hate these alternate realities. Ah.
You remember from watching Looney Tunes that Acme is a manufacturer of things that explode. You throw the crate at the metal door.
I'm not playing Crate Expectations.
It takes 3 tries before the crate finally lands on its edge and one of the TNT blocks inside falls out, hitting the floor and exploding. The door is knocked on its side and flames and smoke now pour from the room beyond it. You see a dimly lit hallway through the newly made gap in the wall. You run to the door and enter the hallway beyond it.
Yes, so what happens next? Haha, we're gonna get out of here. This isn't about being haunted. This is about outsmarting our captor. Should never have played that game. This is what happens when you play.
Run down the hallway until you come to a large room that is reminiscent of a warehouse. Large spools of thread, cotton and other things like that are stacked here and there around the room. There are also wooden crates stacked up in one corner of the room. You can see another door at the far end of the room. The only thing that is in your way is a single large spool of thread that blocks your path. You move the large spool of thread.
That's easy. This isn't a dream. What is happening to this place?
You try to push the large spool of thread, but it is simply too heavy to budge. You have no choice but to move the other crates around it and try to squeeze past it. You quickly move the crates, trying not to think about the noise you are making. Then you squeeze past the spool of thread and run to the next room. You find yourself in another hallway. You run down and
It won't let me stop here, but I'm starting to get an idea what's going on here, so we'll see. And sorry that these are a little bit quiet and a little bit like...
You find yourself in a bedroom. There is a large 4-poster bed with red curtains against the far wall. Above the bed is an oil painting that portrays a man and woman dressed in 18th century clothing. The man is wearing a powdered wig, has a mustache and is wearing a black suit with a gold watch chain dangling over his waistcoat. The woman is wearing a multicolored dress with a low-cut bodice. Her hair is up and she wears several necklaces.
Okay, that's a nice description. Right. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking.
You think that maybe this is
here we go.
and if you go to sleep in the bed you might wake up back in your own room.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get away with this. Ha. Take this.
You sit down on the bed and it feels solid beneath you. Nothing like your own bed at home. You are beginning to believe that this is a game. A very real game with life and death consequences perhaps, but still just a game. Perhaps you are living out the twisted fantasies of a psychopath, or maybe you have been trapped in some kind of virtual reality machine, or maybe this is all just an elaborate illusion.
I'm in Haunted House Chapter
I
2.
think that no, that can't be it. There has to be a reasonable explanation. You lay down on the bed and try to go to sleep.
No, we're not going to let the Witchmaster win.
You lay in the four-poster bed and stare up at the canopy above your head. The gnarled wooden posts are crowned with carved flowers, but the faces of the flowers seem to twist and snarl at you. The red velvet curtains are drawn closed and give the impression of bleeding through with time. You pull the covers over your head and try to go to sleep. You hear voices outside in the hallway. I tell you, I heard something.
Someone's here now.
You listen to the voices and try to remain still and quiet.
Listen to the reason. Listen to the reason.
I don't see anything. The second voice whispers. You want to give us away? The voices sound male and young. You decide to risk it and let them know you're here. Hello? You call out. I'm in here. There's a moment of silence before you hear the door creak open. You sit up and squint as a figure steps through the door,
I could make
blocking
this.
out the light.
I could make this ridiculous, but I'm not going. I'm gonna see what it comes up with on its own, because that's half the fun of playing with AI Dungeons. See what AI Dungeon comes up with.
What's going on in here? He asks as you hold up your hand to block the light shining in your face. I'm lost. You blink as your eyes adjust to the light and you get your first good look at him. He's a tall, gangly fellow with a mess of curly brown hair. He has kind eyes and thick eyebrows that practically join together over his nose.
See if we can get out.
Stand up and walk over to the two people. You have to help, you tell them. I'm trapped here by some evil force. You don't want to mention the Witchmaster. There has to be a... The two people look at each other then back to you. The house is haunted. No one gets out. The girl tells you sadly. Only things get passed on. You stare at her in confusion. What did she mean? You tell her, but I don't belong here. I need to get out. I'm sorry, but if you want to get out you'll have to pay the price, the boy says softly. What do you mean? You ask. How can I pay any price if I don't even know what it is? The girl looks at you and frowns. If you really want to leave this place then one of us needs to die in your place. You watch as the two children disappear, leaving you all alone.
I think I might stop there. That's a decent ending for this spooky story. We're just not going to get out. We're trapped forever in this story. I mean, I've gotten out of the other ones. One of them I died in. But we don't have a whole lot of time, and I don't want to keep this going on forever. So yeah, it's been fun. And don't worry, nothing spooky's going to happen to this one, so you can just turn off the video right now. I promise. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this witching hour and have a good autumn, or having a good autumn, having a good day, and we'll see you next time.
Stop reading that book. This is your last warning, Holly.